Live from Studio 3, this is Packaging Today with Evelio Matos, Adam Peak, and Corey Connors.
Hey,
what is going on?
Sorry.
Like
I'm so sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Didn't have my camera on.
Styling his hair.
Fine. You didn't shave this weekend, I see.
It was a long weekend. But yeah, I decided to just overnight grow some hair. Just like
I love
Time.
it. There's pills for that.
Good.
What we got? It's October 21st, Monday. We got Corey Connors
Good morning.
at Corrugated on the TikToks, Sustainable Packaging Podcast host. And we got Adam Peak, the packagingpastor.com, packaging of pastor. Can I get an amen?
Can I get a hallelujah from the congregation? My kids are like, Dad,
It's
too early for you to be yelling in the house.
Never too early for an amen, I say.
That's right.
No.
And then you got me, Evelio Matos, Packaging Unboxed.
Avelio,
Right,
I have a
that's what I
question
do.
for you, sir.
Designer
what's up, man?
extraordinaire.
How many weeks in a row have you rocked the NFT hoodie for the show?
Dude,
I
it
feel
is
like
my
we're going on a solid
favorite
5.
now. Like, I don't know.
You go to.
It's my look now.
Looks great. You look.
I haven't washed it. I take it off and it just like stands there in the
And
corner.
it's a good message too.
Yeah, Corey, they got bad Wi-Fi in Oregon over there.
Yeah, I read the whole story about it. They were like, well, Oregon is taking up too much Wi-Fi bandwidth, and so we're going to throttle it back.
That's right.
They were so excited about the EPR laws and all of the content that was coming out of this little place, Milwaukee, Oregon. They had to throttle it back down.
Yeah. All right. So
And this hair is. I found my wig over the weekend. By the way, if you can't tell,
does it like make your head hot?
yeah, I don't know how you guys do it with hair because I was sweating. But I thought to myself, because it was kind of cold this weekend, and I'm like, well, what if I just wore a wig? Like, how is it? It's different than wearing a hat, but not really.
really.
It's the same sort of idea. It's just that people look at you weird who know you. Like, why do you have a wig on? But if you wear a fluffy hat, it's like he's just wearing a hat. I'm like, this is all it is. It's
Yeah.
just a fluffy hat wig,
Fluffy hat.
right?
How's that connection? Any better?
No, but I like you a lot.
All right, man. So today we've got some packaging to get to. We've got a couple of guests coming on. We're going to talk about SpecRite. We're going to talk about Pack Expo. So if you're going to Pack Expo, do us a favor, just drop a comment. Let us know you're going there. If you're not going to Pack Expo, drop a comment. Let us know that you're not going, and what can we cover for you? Right, so we can make sure
why
that
you're
they-
not going, crazy
Yeah,
people.
why are you not going?
Yeah, Velio.
What's your problem? Me, I've got travel.
We'll start with you.
I actually have travel.
That's fair.
But what do we got? We got all right. So we've got our friends Matthew Wright and Laura Fody coming on from SpecRite, going to Pack Expo. Yeah, we got Andrew Fraser going. Nice. The guy lives there. He loves it.
I think Andrew has a goal to go to every Pack Expo ever until for Infinity. I think he wants to be an infinitely attending Pack Expo.
Yeah, because that's possible.
He's gonna have his aluminum can, and he's gonna attend Pack Expo. Both are gonna go on for to Infinity and beyond Infinity.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get our guests up here. We'll talk about some SpecRite stuff. We'll talk about some Pack Expo stuff. We'll talk about some packaging, and we'll probably get to some sports because I'm like ready. I'm pumped. I had a great WNBA weekend. I was like glued. I couldn't believe it. Oh, it was amazing.
Is that how you shoot a basketball?
No, it's cheerleading.
Oh, is that what you? Okay.
All right, man. So let's get Matthew Wright up here. Hey, Matthew, how's it going?
Great.
Mr.
Great
Wright.
to see you guys. Hey, nice hair, Adam.
Thank you. Did you want? I can send it to you.
You allowed me about half of that. We'd both be more than we'd ever had.
I have another wig if you want to record a podcast ever, both wearing wigs.
No, I'm with you. I heard you top of the hour, and it does make you hot. So I'll prefer the hat from now on in my life.
Yeah.
Listen,
Well,
the amount of
both
time.
body temperature wise, and also, I mean, I think it makes me look a lot like youth. Like I bring back more youth. I'm definitely more of an attractive human being wearing this wig. It's how I feel.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for joining us on Men on Hair. This is the new LinkedIn podcast.
Let me just say, the amount of time you guys save not having to do your hair, it's priceless. So, you always want what you can't have, I think.
But if you've ever had to shave your head 3 times a week, it is a time savings, but it's not like, at least for me, I mean, my hair still grows, just not very well. And really a wig is sort of like human, like body packaging, right? Like I've embellished myself.
Is it
with this wig?
Secondary packaging?
No, this is primary. This is primary packaging. Yeah, it has direct contact with the epidermis. That's the word. I'm pretty.
Laura, do you remember that party we had years ago where we all dressed up and I wore a big wig and nobody knew who I was?
Yes. No, he was unrecognizable.
I love it.
No, crazy. All right, guys. So Pack Expo's coming up. It's coming up November 3rd through 6th, and then you guys are going to be there. So let's just give us a quick rundown. What, for anybody that's listening that's not familiar with SpecRite, can you just give us a quick rundown what SpecRite is?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Go for it, Laura.
So SpecRite's the first purpose-built platform for specification data management. And when we look at packaging specifications, many of you deal with them every day. They're in spreadsheets, emails. Your suppliers have a lot of that data. And right now, it's just mission critical that companies are able to manage this to comply with things like EPR reporting, which is top of mind for many people going to Pack Expo, or needing this data to look at cost savings projects or SKU rationalization. So SpecRite essentially digitizes all that data for you. So we collect it, digitize it in a single source of truth, and then we enable you to take action on it to do sustainability reporting, cost savings, and really drive efficiency across your supply chain.
Okay. So how does, so you mentioned EPR. I know, Corey, you've been all up on the EPR stuff. How does SpecRite help with EPR?
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest challenge we hear, and Matthew was just at Sustainable Brands in San Diego, and we heard from retailers and major brands, the data that people need to report and comply is just not data they have today. And so the first step of how SpecRite helps is really, we have teams of people, Spec Assist and Spec Squad, that go out and work across your organization and suppliers to gather that data for you. And that's just a mission critical step, but that's the first one. Mm-hmm. What we see is a lot of companies are just starting to scratch the surface on that. The second step is you need to digitize and really manage that data and structure that data. And so with SpecRite, we have hundreds of packaging templates, and we've worked to understand what data is actually required to comply with this kind of reporting. And so the second step is taking that unstructured data, structuring it into these templates, and then creating a sustainable, no pun intended, methodology for you to report, because the laws in Oregon are different than what's required in the UK, are different than what's required in Spain. And so companies need to manage this data dynamically in a software, type environment, in a digitized environment, so that they can comply with whatever and just shoot that data over and generate the reports that they need. So we really view it as a 3-step process: gathering the data, digitizing it, and then actually doing that reporting. But it doesn't stop there. And I think, you three will appreciate this. It's about how do you take that information and then bring it back into your packaging life cycle. So you see where you are, and you see that maybe you're not where you want to be. And then so when you start developing new packaging, the ability to take that data and maybe run different LCAs to see which design is more sustainable. And so we really want people to think about it as this process, that, a circular process. You're never really done optimizing or complying with this. So that's how we think about it. Corey, I know you talk to so many companies. What are you hearing?
I think that well said, Laura. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, is it? No, it's not good. I don't know what to do.
No,
I'll jump in.
I might jump in here real quickly, and I know, Corey, I I'm sorry.
Maybe
wish
hop off
the
and
internet
hop
was
back
easier.
in, Corey.
Yeah, we'll try it. I'm speaking at an event here this week down in Phoenix for the Velocity Institute, and it's private brands and retailers who have private brands, and it's the number one topic that they wanted me to talk about is EPR. And so I tell companies all the time, hey, if Walmart and Hormel and Target are like, we're trying to figure out what's happening with EPR. If they're the ones who are asking, chances are, you probably have really good, regulatory, legal, quality people who have their hands full with things. And EPR legislation, because it's so chaotic right now and so new, is probably pretty far down their list. But you can start taking those steps now, because when it comes and when it happens, I think, Avelia, you've said this before, it's really easy for them to ask you for money. So they're finding ways to collect the money pretty easily. It's just how do you make sure that you are paying the right fees and not paying too much or not paying too little, because they'll come and get it, right? So you can start taking those steps now. You already have all the information. All the information is there. It's just not collected very neatly at this present time.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing, and part of what Laura's talking about on our job, and we'll talk about PAC Expo and us being there, is also educating. Laura mentioned, I think you guys see this as, it's interesting. Companies are still looking at this as a project. Let's just get this done and move on. And I hate to tell them, there's 49 states behind Oregon, and guess what? By the time you get to the 23rd state, the first one's going to change again. So we've got to attack this with a different methodology. And so part of what we're doing too is just continued education, how data and technology today can help enable different behaviors.
So you guys can you hear me now? Is it better?
You should do like the robot dance as you're talking. I think it would be a little better. But no, I was going to ask. So with like EPR laws, like we understand that they're changing. They're adding new states. I think there's only one PRO at the moment that's managing, and as they open up new ones, then that's going to change things up a little bit as well. With SpecRight, so I load up all my information. You gather all the details. We put it up. It's all ready to go. As things change, then I can pull different data. Is that pretty much how that works? If I'm the brand or the manufacturer? Yeah, no. So it kind of flows all the way through private label retail to the brand to the ultimate durable goods manufacturer that puts it in packaging, et cetera. And the key, I think, is really as those regulations change or the expectations of data change, you do it once in a templated system, and then everybody, the thousands of participants that are working on that, automatically know what to be updated or automatically gets pinged that something's missing. And you think a high efficiency rate of technology period when we live in that world. We don't have to worry about 1,000 people trying to figure out what the difference is or what new they have to worry about. And so we're engaging with a lot of people such as yourself and others. So as those things change, and we're working with some major private label retailers to kind of create this standardized data or normalized data or best practices data. And that's not the one and done. Then it's like, let's ebb and flow that as we go forward. So everybody touching that gets the same knowledge immediately. And that's where you create tremendous efficiency and high regulatory compliance. Okay. And then like for me, the things that I'm concerned about at the moment are what's happening in Europe, right? There's like EUDR and these other types of regulations that are happening, although EUDR got pushed back towards the end of the year.
What is that, Avelio? I don't know, because I'm I only work in America. So hang on. Normally a bald eagle lands on my shoulder.
Usually like lands on your shoulder. Yeah.
It didn't happen. It's fine. It's live.
It's the timber regulations that are happening in Europe. So you have to be able to provide geolocation for where the source of your paper is coming from. So like actual information, like where this tree was, where it was grown, where it was cut down, for every piece of paper that you're creating.
Wow.
Yep. I mean, it's only going to get more complicated, I think is the takeaway, right? It's interesting. I'm a big fan of the Packaging Dive. I subscribe to their newsletter. And like last weekend, these were some of the headlines that I want to read off real quick. Washington State finds 35 companies violating recycled plastic law. Consumers are confused by packaging sustainability claims. Danone chooses cartons for initial how to recycle rollout. This is my personal favorite. Clorox says 2023 cyber attack hurt progress on 2030 plastic and waste reduction goals. This stuff is getting very real, very real. And it's interesting to see just how companies are going to respond. And I think what we would encourage people to do is you just have to start. You know, we see some companies that are kind of in like this, you know, they're waiting for laws to unfold, but the March deadline's around the corner. You just have to start taking action. One of my favorite features that we've just released is a data completeness report, and we have one for EPR. And what it allows you to do is track the progress to even getting your data. So you can have a dashboard and it shows you here's the percentage of this type of data field you need for EPR that you have, and so on and so forth. And I think that's so important because what I hear from people who are in these companies is they're getting checked in by maybe legal or compliance. How's it going? How's EPR reporting going? And so just having things like this to show progress, to be able to bring stakeholders together and create plans to continue to close that data gap and be able to comply with these laws is just so critical. And it's really interesting to see companies dealing with the negative repercussions of this right now. I don't think people expected this a few years ago. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think that it's such a great point. And also it's the most pressing thing right now. It seems like EPR is sort of top of mind. I know, like I wrote an ebook about it. It's been downloaded quite a bit because it was a thing a year ago. I do like sustainability lunch and learns with brands. And a year ago it was like, okay, we'll see. And now it's like, tell me everything that we can know about EPR, which in a year from now is going to be, to Matthew's point, is going to be completely different. And so it's becoming more top of mind. But my point would also be understanding and controlling your data. It's your data, right? Like you're the brand, it's your data. Understanding, controlling that is important for EPR. And also, even if there was a federal government that came in and said, like, you know what we hate is EPR, and the people were like, yeah, we hate it too, and they struck it all down, and it was just like the Wild West. If that were the case, which is not going to be, by the way, but if that were the case, it would still be important to understand from a production standpoint, from a supply chain standpoint, from a cost of goods sold standpoint, you know, like from a SKU reduction. I mean, there's all sorts of benefits in understanding and controlling your data beyond EPR. It's just the thing that right now has the most consequence to it, that I think people are starting to feel. But from my perspective, I've never understood it. Even back in the mid 2000s when I was buying packaging, I was like, wait, you want me to give you your data? You're like your spec data? Like we're a broker. Yeah. You mean I'm the one who has your dye lines? I'm the one who has your material specs? Like you don't know these? They're like, no. It's like, oh my gosh. It's crazy to think that, but that's still the case, I think, in a lot of places.
Yeah. For sure. And so having everything like compiled in one area just makes it make sense.
You made a great point, Adam. It's really EPR, I think, is the compelling event that's really forcing people to take a look in the mirror on this. But, you know, for brands and as a marketer myself, the consumer is the most important thing at the end of the day. Those are the people buying your products. We did a sustainability survey with consumers in the US, and some of the findings really highlight the desire for consumers to know more too. 80% of consumers are more likely to trust companies that back up their sustainability claims with publicly shared data. I think people are catching on to the concept of greenwashing, and especially the younger generation is saying, you know, we're digital natives. Show us the data. Show us that it's sustainable. And then the second one that I think is concerning as well is 69% of respondents don't believe companies today are accurately or honestly reporting on sustainability goals and metrics. What I'll say is that I think it's really more about accurate than, I don't think companies are trying to be dishonest. I think they simply just don't know. Mm-hmm. And so again, I think that consumer relationship is so important. You know, it's important obviously to comply with government regulations, but at the end of the day, you're selling a product to a consumer who's making a choice, and consumers have more choices today than ever before. And so the companies that do this proactively, that start to manage their data, that start to show this in very progressive ways. I think Dermalogic is a great example of a brand that's really been at the forefront of this in gathering the sustainability data, using it to comply with regulations, using it to communicate with their consumers. It's possible. And again, the key is just getting started, which can be the hardest part.
What say
Agreed.
you, Corey?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
He's
All
back.
right. He's
Finally,
back.
and that's the show, guys. Thank you so much. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Corey had to take a quick break because he had to go clean out all of his recycling.
Yes. I was busy recycling, taking care of the planet. You're welcome.
Yeah.
No,
How many ducks did you clean during
Seven.
the seven
Yeah.
ducks?
I'm very bloody. I won't show my hands. But...
Okay.
Oh, wait,
That's
that's
weird.
not what you meant.
No. I meant you saved them, not.
I
They were
wanted to
alive.
mention. I wanted to mention something. I got to see Matthew speak. I think it was at Westpac, and he was talking about how we used to do maps in books, and how now we do maps that are updated by the second online and on our phone and our computers, whatever the case may be. And I think that SpecRite is that advancement for specification management that we need. And instead of, Excel spreadsheets, we're using a data management system that is incredible, and it links everything. We were talking about EPR laws, LORAX and TRIAC. Now it's all in there with SpecRite so that you just have one source of truth. And I think that's the reason it's so valuable for the future.
I appreciate it, Corey. I was actually going to pull that analogy out, so thank you for doing it for me. But you asked earlier, like, what's how does spec management help with EPR? And to me, and it's probably a chaotic way to look at it, I feel like right now companies are pulling out the old paper map and drawing the new freeway themselves on the map, and I'm like, oh my God, like that's just not the way the world works today. And
Right.
so back to this digitized, we had 10, 15 years ago, all these crazy cars driving around and digitizing the world, right? And digitizing the road systems. And today we live off of this instantaneous change to that system. And I feel it's the same way with the data structure of products made and manufactured. Is we just need to lay the digital footprint, and then the rest becomes so much easier. So thanks, Corey. I guess that's not a horrible analogy. So
No, to
Great
build off that, I live outside of Los Angeles, and they now have self-driving cars that you can take as as a ride share.
Amazing.
And when I think about just how that applies to packaging, I mean, one of the features we're going to demo that I'm super excited about at Pack Expo is Spec GPT and Spec IDP. And so many of you guys, I'm sure, are using ChatGPT and other, other AI, assistants. And why shouldn't packaging engineers have access to the same tools, right? And so we've brought that ability to chat and ask, just like you would ask ChatGPT about something, you can ask SpecRite about something. Hey, show me all of my specs that are, not, that have X% plastic. Okay, put it in a chart for me. Boom, I'm just going to put that in my presentation. So
Amazing.
you're getting SpecRite to now almost be your assistant. And then what honestly excites me even more, because I just hear the pain every day of people saying, Laura, that sounds great. Like, I would love a chat AI for packaging specs, but like my spec data is not digitized, right? And that's such a hard leap. Spec IDP is intelligent document processing. That's, you literally can take a document, upload it, and it digitizes it for you. And to me, those are the type of features that you talked about, the cars that are driving and gathering all the data and then uploading it to Google Maps. That's what this is doing, right? So there are tools and technology out there that can do the same thing for you, that can go and digitize your specs for you, that can go and help you analyze those specs for you. And again, it's just so exciting to see all these things that we see in our consumer lives coming to business and coming to packaging and supply chain. Corey, you mentioned seeing Matthew speak. I know he has 2 talks at the innovation stage. Matthew, do you want to share what you're going to be speaking about?
Yeah, no, Sunday, going to be talking in the afternoon on a topic that's near and dear, kind of just a continuation of what we're talking about. And Adam mentioned it is, we all should have this data anyway. And this, to me, that's the same data that helps, and Adam kind of already stole it, reduce costs, SKU rationalization. And it's the same data you need for sustainability and regulatory. And so the whole talk track is, this unified data approach that has outcomes such as cost savings, EPR, which we talked about, and other sort of regulatory means, just like the analogy we just said. So that's going to be all about, it's kind of one and the same data. Again, I said it earlier, it's the frustrating part of the world is I think we keep trying to solve these one-off events, and they're just not one-off events anymore. This is a continuum that we're living. We're expected to save money every day. We're expected to be, the right products in front of the consumer every day. And you can't do that without a digitized platform, regardless of SpecRite. You just need technology. So that's going to be Sunday.
That's Sunday, November 3rd, right?
Yep.
The first. Awesome.
All right. Are we gonna hear any amens or hallelujahs since it's on Sunday? Can I, if I'm there, can I like stand up and just be like, preach it, brother?
I was never able to stop it before, Adam. So you're welcome to do whatever
That's fair.
you want.
That's fair. Okay. And then when's your other talk time?
Yeah, and then on Tuesday, we're going to be talking about, kind of Laura mentioned it before, the consumer's expectations for these companies. And I've said it like you did, Adam, for years. I'm like, if only the consumer knew. I've always said that, like if that, how despondent this data is and how scattered it is of stuff they're buying, consuming every day. And certainly companies get by with it because we put 130 process steps on top of these, fragmented systems. And so why not have 2 or 3 clicks, and why not have everything at your fingertips? So it's really going to be about, making sure your data is ready when the consumer wakes up and comes and asks for it. And Laura mentioned it before, one thing that's fun, I think the new generation always gets the negative. I think the positives are, it's a generation that won't put up with stupidity that we did for, our childhood and early adulthood. They're going to stand up and they're going to demand it. And when they don't get what they want, they're going to move to the next brand. I mean, it's just not going to be this 30-year history of using this brand. It's going to be a momentary change. So I think companies, I'm not sure they're ready for it.
But those are the same kids buying Shine and Temu. So we kind of gotta. That's the tough part.
Question.
Wait, I got a question. So are you guys with all this data? Have you guys worked with or had any conversation with the team over at Scrap, right? Like
Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey, because that team is doing some amazing stuff. What is it? SCRAPP.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Vilio. One of my favorite parts about Pack Expo is just seeing people in the industry Mikey is someone we see every year, and would encourage him to stop by the booth. One of the things that we'll really be highlighting is our partnerships and activating that data across the ecosystem. So Mikey, swing by. We'll be hosting Lorax EPI will be on site. And so we have a great partnership and integration with them to really take the data we were talking about earlier for EPR and then sending it to Lorax so they can transform it into the reporting for each specific state and location. So that'll be a great partnership we have. And then Triac with lifecycle assessments. So the hardest parts of an LCA is simply getting your data. The easy part is then sending it and running the LCA. And so that's a really awesome one to see because it's literally the click of a button. And that process used to take 6 to 9 months of data gathering. And now you can run LCAs as often or as frequently as you want. And so those will be some of the partners we have. But I would encourage anyone listening to stop by our booth. So we have partnerships in terms of companies that can help implement SpecRite, companies like packaging companies. We have a great happy hour that we're doing in partnership with Lorax and Adept Packaging at the Godfrey Hotel. That'll be November 4th from 5 to 9 p.m. We will be talking about all things packaging, sustainability, and compliance. So if you're curious about one or all 3 of those topics, swing by our happy hour. Again, that's at the Godfrey Hotel, November 4th from 5 to 9 p.m. This really is an industry challenge. And, Matthew and I really believe in the SpecRite team that we're only going to solve it by coming together because there's so much complexity to address. So we're excited to talk to many of our partners and hopefully meet some new ones too.
And I got to say, Laura, real quick, we got some lovers on the phone with our swag. We always believe in our swag. We're going to step it up again. Pack Expo.
That was my question.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to hear about the swag? You want to?
That was my question. Is like, where's your booth
peek.
and what's the swag going to be like? Because that's what everybody. Yeah. I think people have come to recognize it. It would be really disappointing if you're just like, we're just going to give out koozies. I'd be like, no.
No. This year, I'm really excited about. Listen, every year the team does an amazing job with the swag giveaway. This year, we're going to do live screen printing at our second booth location. So you can go and pick out a custom shirt that's designed specifically for Pack Expo.
Awesome.
It's awesome. One of them, for those of you familiar with our booth in previous years, we like to show, there you
That's
go.
right.
We like to show breakouts of products. So like a cereal box and all the packaging and formulas. We have some really fun activations. So there may or may not be a deep dish pizza breakout, which is
Margarita
really
pizza
cool.
company.
Very, yeah, nod to Margarita Manufacturing, also nod to Chicago deep dish. And we have a really cool, Pack Expo, design. And so there's a few that you can pick from. So come swing by, pick up your custom shirt. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And also just a really cool giveaway because it's more personalized, which you don't get a lot of these kind of events.
You said you have 2 booths?
Yeah. So one booth is our main one. So that's in Lakeside Upper. So Lakeside Upper 7832. That will be the main SpecRite booth. Come swing by, talk to us. We can then walk you to our second location where we do the live screen printing.
It's near there. Okay.
It's nearby. We keep needing bigger booths. So
Yeah.
So this year we got 2.
Right. There's on the app. So
There you go.
You're ready.
Yeah, there you go. So 7059 is the screen printing and 7832. That's our main booth, Lakeside Upper. And by the way, I was just in Chicago this past weekend. It is beautiful. It's not, for those of us who live on the West Coast or maybe the Southeast, not too cold yet. So this is a great time to be in Chicago. And we're really excited for everyone to get some swag.
And we just scheduled a podcast with you, Laura, with your team. Adam and I will be at the booth, Lakeside Upper 7832, Monday at 1:00.
Yep.
Awesome.
So come see us in person.
I can't wait.
Bring the
Facts,
hair.
bro. It's
Adam.
gonna be
Bring the hair.
the hair adds to the Riz. So
Yeah.
chat, show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It's not
the
Ohio,
best part of this are all the kids that
We're
are
not in Ohio. We're in Illinois.
Illinois. So
kids
Yeah,
that the kids that wrote this song. I mean, are amazing. Like, I want to share this, like the We Are the World of sustainability. So
The devil's in the house of the rising sun.
so
cut the mics. Cut the mics.
no, awesome. Thank you guys so much for being on, Laura, Matthew, Corey for coming back on.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Thank
And
you for your
definitely get out there, go to Pack Expo. If you want to get a discount to get to Pack Expo, use promo code PACK today 24 and be there November 3rd through 6th. Check out Matthew speaking on Sunday and Tuesday.
Sunday.
That's right.
One last thing for those at Pack Expo, Spec Summit is coming up. So if you're interested in learning more about spec data and you don't get enough at Pack Expo, our Spec Summit will be February 5th through 7th in Nashville, Tennessee at the One Hotel, which is an amazing property. Registration is currently open on SpecRite.com with an early bird discount. But if you swing by our Pack Expo booth and register on site while you're there, we'll actually waive your registration fee. So that's another great, pick up your t-shirt, register for Spec Summit, get your registration fee waived. And we really look forward to seeing all of you there. And guys, I look forward to reuniting for a packaging extravaganza.
Amazing.
United.
All right.
My singing
Awesome.
has to
Thank you
stop.
so much. If you guys have any questions about SpecRite, Pack Expo, or anything packaging, go ahead and just drop it in the comments. We keep checking and we'll keep answering it. And look forward to seeing you guys.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it, guys. Always appreciate it.
Live from Studio 3, this is Packaging Today with Evelio Matos.